boning rods for stabilizing, the first thing I do is set one for straight across. It makes it easier to measure for my quarter and crown, and it also, if we have to bone the gutter, I already have it set and I don't have to fumble around when we're in a hurry. So I will set that one first. And then on this road, it's a 9-meter road face to face. So my quarter by plans is 10 centimeters, but we bump our quarter up by a centimeter, so it's going to be 11 centimeters. So I measure from top to top, down 11 centimeters. And I tighten that one up. And then for my crown, by plans is 130. On most roads, we bump it up by 2 centimeters to 150. On this job, for this developer, we've been asked to do 3. So I'm gonna set it to 160. So from top to top, I want 16 centimeters. And that's my boning rods. We also, for boning a road that's parabolic, we set up and measure out a string, because where you check is just as important as what you check for. So this is already set up. I'll double check when we're out there boning, but because we're pretty girls, I use a barrette. So I've got a barrette set up for my quarter and some ribbon set up for my crown, and we can just roll out the string. We'll hook this one onto the middle one, and then we don't have to measure out every time, and we know we're in the right spot.
Very nice, Tamara. I think that's it, eh?
Yeah, that's about all I do when I set up my boning rods. And then
Okay.
you could, when we're doing it, you could videotape a little bit of us.
Yeah, I will.
And then the string will make a little bit more sense, I think.
And here we are boning. It's Vern Kyle here. We've already put in about 12 hours today, so it feels nice to get out of the grader and just go for a walk. We have stabilized this clay, and as you can see, there's a mono berm on both sides. Now, the only parts of this clay that have been packed is the berm, which I'm walking on, and the area where Tamara's standing, where the boning dots are, well, that's been packed. But everything out in the middle is just more or less loose. The pad foot has never really packed on it yet. Now, when we go to use the pad foot packer on the center of this road where it's loose out there, it's going to drop probably about 2 centimeters. The grader operator needs to coordinate with the grade crew to know if they're adjusting the grades to accommodate for that compaction shrinkage. I know that Tamara leaves it a little bit high to accommodate for the compaction, but some crews don't, so the grader operator needs to know that. Again, the area where Tamara's setting her boning rod, right on that dot, that area there has been final packed already. Now, the grading crew puts a lot of effort into creating these boning dots, so when you're on the grader, you have to make sure that you don't distort them in any way. Don't take them out until you're completely done utilizing them. When the grader operator goes for a walk and a discussion with the boning crew, it's not time wasted, because by doing that, you get to look at the numbers, you get to make a mental note in your head of which way the material needs to go, if it needs to go to one end or the other, or one side or the other. Symphony's on the skid steer, and she's cutting out the para-ramps on this intersection and throwing out the loose clay into the center of the street, which I'll blade around when I get back into the grader. There's a cut of 2. This is the first time that we've measured this stabilizing. This will give me a good idea of what I need to do when I get back into the grader. Once I confirm with the grading crew that we don't need these boning dots anymore, I'll clean up the edge. Like, I can clean up those lumps that Teresa's standing on there. Once I utilize these numbers, then we'll we'll measure the road again. Once this stabilizing is complete, the next step will be to dump gravel on here and put the gravel up on top of the berms so that they can pour the monowalk. Now we'll have a little discussion about which way the dirt needs to go. And by the way, that big guy in front of me there is Volva, and he's joining us from Ukraine. Now here we're on a different location, and I'm going to talk about using the string to measure the street instead of boning rods. The string is marked with a ribbon, so we know exactly where the quarter crown is and where the crown is. The string post is placed right on the lip of curb, and the string is pulled nice and tight. You notice Tamara squirts a little dot on the ground, right where she put her tape measure. That way, if I'm looking at the number, I know exactly where she measured it. There's a cut of 2, a cut of 3, and there's a grade. For those of you out there that are using GPS, this would be a really good way to double check your work. Using the string is extremely accurate. This material that we're working in here is at 63 mil. It's the recycled material. And those white chunks that you see in it are actually pieces of broken tile from a recycled government building. Once I utilize these numbers, we probably won't have to measure this road again because it's actually pretty close. We're coming up to a high point in the street here, and you know how you have to keep track of where the high points are. You see, with the string, whatever the tape measure reads, that's what it is. But when you're looking across the boning rods, you're more or less just guesstimating what the number is, although you can get very good at guesstimating. As years go by, they keep adding complexity to these streets. You notice in front of me here where the curb veers way in and then way out again? Well, they refer to that as a chicane. That's chicane with a CH. It's designed to slow down traffic. See you next time, and thank you for watching.